All set? Okay, before we start, I'd like to recognize some of the people in the room. We have Councilwoman Mary Kay Harris. We have Councilman Pedro Espinal, Councilwoman Shelley Peterson, Councilman John Goncalves. We have our Deputy Chief of Staff, Deputy Solicitor, sorry about that, Ken Cheverini, and we have Donna and Lauren. We have our internal auditor, Gina Costa. And now we have our president coming in behind Mr. Bulgarian, Christian Noah.
Oh, no.
And policy is.
So you have a roll call.
Christina.
We have a roll call for tonight.
So we're ready to start. Please call the meeting to order. Ask for roll call. A roll call.
Chairwoman Anthony, absent. Vice Chairman Machado, absent. Councilman Taylor,
Here.
Councilor Underwood. Here. Councilor Sanchez.
Here.
Three present, two absent. We have a quorum.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to elect the chairperson of the Committee on Finance for this meeting only. Any motion?
Second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, are there any further nominations? I'm sorry, are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? There being no further nominations, the city clerk is hereby directed to cast one ballot for Councilman James Taylor as chair of the Committee on Finance for this meeting only. City clerk, can you ask for a motion to waive the reading of item number 1?
Second.
Right, and I understand there's a substitution for this matter,
Yes, there is.
and we pass that substitution out. And while she's doing that, I'd like to make a motion to substitute number 1 for 1A.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone has any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Substitution. If no one has any questions, then I have a motion to approve number 1 as amended.
So moved.
Oh, second.
Councilman Sanchez moves the motion, Councilwoman Anderson seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That passes. Can I have a motion to waive the reading of item number 2?
So moved.
Second.
And there's a substitution for that as well.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And we pass that substitution out. From number 2, remain at 2A. Yes, their motion to substitute number 2 for number 2A.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Anderson, seconded by Councilman Sanchez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? None. So that the motion passes as approved. As amended, I'm sorry.
No,
No.
that was a motion for the substitute.
Substitution.
Okay, so,
Two-way.
okay, that's it. I'm ahead of myself, I'm sorry. Just call me up from the bullpen. Anybody have any questions on number 2, item number 2?
Mr. Chair, if you would entertain, I can go through the ordinance and explain all of the changes that went on.
Go ahead, Mr. Walker. Floor is yours.
So substitution 1A is the tax levy. That was passed. The city council dropped the residential tax rate from 1870 to 1835 per thousand. And the homestead exemption was increased from 40% to 43% based on the original submission. They also increased the commercial tax rate to 3510. If you go to page 1 of your appropriations ordinance, 2A, you will see that there is a variance of 4.3 million under the tax revenues. That is the result of that proposed tax structure by the council. Going down this revenue summary, there is an increase to federal and state revenue for FEMA grant of 507,500. Going further down, they increased the interest income from the ARPA interest in the amount of 661,663. They created a new line item, insurance proceeds, just to be more transparent. They just pulled it out of other revenues and identified it as insurance proceeds, and then the other amount went up ahead to the federal grants. So that's the 72.5 there. And then, as also discussed in the previous meeting, they increased the ARPA funding 500,000 from 11,000 to 11,500. This still had room, so we put that over. Moving on to page, I think our pages are the same. So going through each of the departments, there are no changes to the mayor offices, the law department. None of the finance departments are changed. Everything is as original submission. We get to public safety. You'll see salaries in the commissioner's office is decreased by 200,553. That is the removal of the commissioner and the administrative assistant to the commissioner. Moving down to police, you see a decrease of 1.255 million. That is a combination of a reduction in overtime, correction of salaries, technical changes, but the whole net decrease to salaries is 1.255561. Services was decreased for community engagement materials. It was overfunded and they just made a technical correction. In supplies, clothing allowance was reduced due to attrition, less offices, so they needed less money there. So the net impact to police is a decrease of 1.315 million. Going down to the fire department, you'll see an increase to salaries of $568,827. There's actually a reduction in callback. They removed the assistant chief, a correction to rescue techs. The chief of EMS was put back down to the lower rank. And they had a less lateral transfers. They originally budgeted for 40, they decreased it to 33. And then there was a correction to longevity. It was a technical correction. So all that nets out to $568,827. There's no change to communications. Public safety overall has a decrease of $947,000, $287. In the Department of Planning, there was an adjustment between planning and OEO for salaries. So it was just about even. Planning went down 136,384. OEO is 144,668. They basically transferred some salaries from one department to the other. Moving down to traffic engineering. There was an active traffic foreperson that was unintentionally unfunded, so we corrected that, technical correction. In public works administration, there was discussion of removing the community liaison. That with technical adjustments netted out to a savings of $25,335. In environmental control, supplies increased by $136,675. This is for a garbage truck, and the city has a match of $44,000. This is to go down the commercial corridors to help with the garbage collection. Moving to sewer construction. Again, this is a technical correction when an employee was active and they didn't have the funding there, so we just funded the position. Moving to superintendent of parks. They just updated for a grant funded position at the Welcome Center. That was another technical correction. And probate court. This was another technical, it was an upload error. It was duplicate salary, so we made that correction of $336,098. In Treasury, the salary for the senior advisor was moved to the city council office, the admin to city council. And that also had, we removed 2 deputy directors in council, so they netted $56,500. In the internal auditor's office, there were just corrections of 1033 benefits. There are no 1033 members there, so they just made that correction. Moving down to the non-general fund, debt service has a correction of $1.2 million for interest on a 215 bond. And they also removed the master lease payment. And they added in benefits, $300,000 to attrition. So the total impact change is $2,645,135, which reflects the amount in the changes for the revenues.
Thank you.
I was just wanting to point out section 2 of the document, pointing out, I think we heard a lot of public comment just now about the pilot and long-term pilot agreement. And the city is enforcing in this updated draft, a non-essential hiring freeze until the agreement is made with the policies and universities on the pilot agreement, so we can ensure we get strong pilot agreement from in the negotiations. So some-
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Any other comment? Okay. City clerk, where are we? Did I do the 2
We did
Voted?
1 and 2.
voted?
We have not voted on item 2 yet.
Okay, so, substituted 2 for 2A.
Yes.
And anybody have any questions on that? No one has any questions? I make a motion to approve item number 2 as amended.
Second.
Councilwoman Andujar made the motion, seconded by Councilman Sanchez. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That shall pass. Now I'd like to make a motion. Ask for a motion to waive the readings of items number 3.
Second.
And it says substitute number 3 as well.
Yes, there is.
That passed out. I make a motion to substitute item number 3 for 3A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Andujar, second by Councilman Sanchez.
Yes.
Internal order, would you mind going through this? And we had some questions.
So this is the compensation ordinance that just gives the grades and the rates for all employees. We have the red lines, if there's red line through it, the job was removed in accordance with the appropriations ordinance. And then underlined would be added. Just all want to look through it, and if you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Anybody have any questions? No questions, I'd like a motion to approve item 3 as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Sanchez, seconded by Councilman Enderblock. All those in favor? Opposed? Yeah, like the motion to waive the readings of item number 4.
Second.
There's also, I understand, there's a substitution for number 4 as well.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Pass that up. And then I ask for a motion to substitute item 4 for 4A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Enderblock, seconded by Councilman Sanchez. All those in favor? Oh, wait. Well, it's up to you. All opposed? The ayes have it. And that's the order, put it on the spot. Take her explain this after.
So this is the classification ordinance, which provides a list of job titles by department. Any changes, again, it's crossed out, it was replaced or renamed, underlined, it's new. There are some technical adjustments, for example, if you go to section 11, the confidential assistant to the chief human resource officer, that's just a technical change, there's no financial impact. But if there was any financial impact, it was all captured in the appropriation ordinances, which I went through individually. Again, if you want to review it, and you have any specific questions on any section, I'd be happy to respond.
Again, the same underlined is added. Crossed out is delete.
Yes. And I may add to thank Crystal Lindbergh for doing all the ordinances. I know it's a lot of work.
Thank you,
Much
Crystal.
appreciated, Crystal. I hate to take credit for all her work, but I did review them, and then they are in accordance with all of the recommendations that this committee has made for the commission changes.
Any questions? No one has any questions, I'd ask for a motion to approve. Okay, go ahead.
And this question for our auditor. In the recreation department, I don't see any new positions. Is that because of the land use? I thought we were gonna do-
Sorry, recreation.
Yeah, section 30.
So this is based on the mayor's proposal. So I believe they're already all in
Oh,
there.
they're already on.
They're already in there.
Okay.
Yes, nothing was, yes,
Okay.
just so everyone understands, there have been no removal of positions, but there is a list of about $6.8 million to hold them accountable for the, yes.
questions? Okay, then I would ask for a motion to approve item number 4 as amended.
So,
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Andujar, seconded by Councilman Sanchez. All those in favor? All those opposed, hearing none, that also, item number 4 passes. And I believe that is it.
Mr. Chair, we have one more exhibit, it's letters of testimony that we should put into the record as an
Okay.
exhibit.
Okay,
Okay,
so I'd like to enter all the emails, is that what they were?
yes,
All the emails and, can I have a motion to enter all the emails and for the testimony.
we'll call that on exhibit
Exhibit.
36.
Exhibit 36. All right. 36 are the emails. Motion made by Councilman Sanchez, seconded by Councilman Andujar. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. The issue of exhibit 36. Anything further? City Clerk? Colonel Warner. Madam President. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman Taylor. No, so I just want to take the time, just make a brief comment as a new counselor and a member of the finance committee. This process definitely has been a big learning experience. It's been super frustrating at times. Sometimes you go home after 3 hours of testimony in this committee and you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't know what to do. You're feeling a little depressed, a little sad. But I mean, this work is important. At the end of the day, we're doing this on behalf of the people that put their trust in us as city councilors. So I just want to thank my fellow finance colleagues, the city staff that has been there throughout the whole process and way more available than they probably need to with any questions on whether it's policy or auditor. And our council staff. And then thank the mayor's administration and finance team, they've been there every single meeting explaining every single question that we might have. And then just quickly speaking on the budget, obviously, I'm not super pleased that we're raising taxes and inflating the public safety budget. But as elected officials, you gotta give and take, and I think this budget works for the council. When the mayor presented his proposal to us, kind of got put in a position where we had to be a little more defensive than be more reactionary. That I personally would like to see as a city council member. But what I've been telling everyone that this is year 1 of year 4. This is a pretty decent foundation. We're only going to get better as a council with our staff going forward. I'm looking forward to the different ideas and proposals that the council president has mentioned, specifically to the tax structure commission. I think that's something that we're going to have to take a deep dive and give it our all in. Like we've been hearing in public testimony, we've all got emails. Something's not working and we gotta start addressing it rather sooner than later. So that's all.
Thank you.
So I also,
With the finance, you did a lot of work.
yeah, I also just wanted to thank my fellow finance committee members, and also in particular, our additional here to Chairwoman Anthony. I found this to be just a really transparent and open process. I know we've all gotten a lot of emails and calls, really great public testimony, and the fact that we had the agenda or the calendar out well in advance so folks could watch the ones they were interested in, not watch the ones they weren't interested in. I was getting comments on the specific ones that were happening that night, right beforehand, because people knew which ones they could watch on which nights and come give public testimony. So really just want to be grateful to Chairman Anthony for really leading with transparency, and also to President Miller for making sure that we were all like in a way that respects all us not getting in a room and talking because that's not appropriate, but like being able to share input and feedback and our priorities for this budget. So I also am excited about some of the stuff that's in the budget. I know we spent a lot of time talking about cuts and property tax, and all these things, but there's some really exciting things in there, like new positions at the rec centers that will be really important for our youth. I think in the long run will help reduce things like police budgets, because these are all systemic issues. And the budget is one very, very important document. I'm excited about all the other things that are about to come. I just want to thank everyone for your awesome engagement, particularly people in the public, the other counselors, and our internal auditor, Gina. It's just amazing. But I'm excited about this budget. There's some really great things in here that we can really build on to grow the city.
Madam President, would you like to make a comment?
No,
No?
I very briefly just want to thank you and all three of you for being here tonight. And I know we're all keeping thoughts of Chairwoman Anthony and her health in mind as well. So thank you all for continuing this work and moving forward.
Thank you. Any other comments? I'd just like to say, it's my 5th year in the finance committee. And I'd like to thank everybody that, both the city administration and all of my members on the finance committee. It went very smoothly. What we were done with, Sanchez said, I felt bad at the beginning because I felt bad that 7 new council people were being given this budget to raise taxes. And I know that's not what everybody signed up for 5 months ago. They signed up to help their neighborhood and improve parks and stuff. So they were kind of put on the spot, but with the leadership of Council President Miller and all of us, and working with Larry and Lou, Crystal and Sarah, it was long nights. Well, for some, I got it. I did go on vacation for a little bit. So, but I did watch them. I was watching them while I watched all the hearings. So, but no, I want to thank everybody in the finance committee, city solicitor who sat here every night and day after day. Fellow New York Yankees. He was like, "When are we leaving? Because the Yankees are out." I know, but not really. We got the internal order work real hard to give us, especially the newer council people, an understanding of the budget. It's really they had to come in and learn the budget process. So it wasn't just here's the paper and if you have any questions. She actually walked them through every single way she did tonight to go over and explain it. So I thank you for that. And from here on, we're going to vote on this to pass out to the full committee, full council. Just to let people know. Doesn't mean we're going to pass it yet. We're just passing it out of committee, out of this committee, and then it'll go to the full council probably in a week or so. But we'll have plenty of time to talk about the different things we heard tonight to consider and see, you know what I mean, but anything changes before we actually vote. So your voices were not unheard. I want to let the people know that stay here. And if we can't do it this time, your voices are still unheard. For the next budget that we just look at and hopefully tweak things to make things better. And you were also not only heard by the council, you were heard by the city administration. I think, I don't want you to go home and say, that's not happening. We all are here. We heard you. We took notes. And I thank you again for the people that are here who came in to speak, make the process go last one. So that, if we have no other matters, right?
There are no other matters.
No other matters, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Vanderwan, second by Councilman Sanchez. All those in favor? Votes. Ayes have it.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
I was gonna say thank you for stepping in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm all on the phone, but I got-
You were ready. Like, lead coach.
We'll be in the-
All right.
Yeah.